Catholic Bible Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Bible which was my daily used Bible for about 2.5 years. That's the Ignatius Catholic Bible Compact Zippered edition. I ordered this Bible in July of 2017, and at that time it was about $28 on Amazon. Right now you can get it for about $23. This Bible was my daily use Bible. It is about 4.5 by 6.5 inches. To show you that size, I'm going to go ahead and compare it to this new St. Joseph Sunday Missal, the compact edition, and you can see that those are very comparable in size. The compact Ignatius Bible is about an inch wide, so you can see it's about the same size as your Missal. It very easily fits in most of my purses, even some of my coat pockets. To give you an idea of what it looks like compared to a typical full-size Bible, here it is next to my Great Adventure Bible. I'll set it on top here so you can see just how that compares. Zoom you out just a bit here. There you go. And you can see it's quite a bit thinner, being only about an inch wide. Now this edition really is quite nice. It's been really durable for me over the years. You can see it has this metal zipper that goes around with this nice gold miraculous metal. Let's see if I can get you zoomed in there so you can see that in detail. It really is very nice, high quality. I was worried when I ordered it that this zipper would come loose, but it has not had any issues. I'll show you the spine here. See, it does say Holy Bible RSV Catholic Edition with the Ignatius publisher's name there on bottom. You can see it has some hubs, but they're just indented on there. And it was all in gold. You can see some of that has faded over the years, but it's still there. Like I said, this has really done well for me over the years. I carried this around with me. It came with me in my car, my purse. My kids love to mess with it, zip it and unzip it. And it's held up to everything we've put it through, really. So with that said, that's about it for the outside. This is just a bonded leather cover, but it's really nice. You can see it has some dings on it, a few minor scratches, but nothing too bad. And really, you can see them better on camera than you can in real life. I would say it's comparable to the alpha cowhide of the Great Adventure Bible, but it's a little less squishy, if that makes sense. But it is flexible to a degree, but it does protect the block inside. So let's go ahead and open it up. And I will try to show you the binding here, but it's going to be hard because of that leather protection it has there. So there you can see the binding. It's nice. I have had no issues with it. You can see it does come with gold gilded paper there inside, but you can also tell where I tend to flip through. It's wearing thin. That's right where, if I'm looking for a passage, that's where I'm going to put my thumbs to look for it. So you can see over the years it has worn a bit there. At the corners here where the zipper kind of rubs up against it, it has rubbed off the gilding, but overall it's survived quite well. Here you can see it's just a typical paste down liner. It does feel like it is made of a similar bonded leather type. Kind of has a plasticky feel on this side. Nothing too special, but it does the job. That brings us into the presentation pages. Now, I will say I'm not a huge fan of presentation pages, but I do think the Ignatius Bibles do it well. They're nicely printed. The icon here, I think, is a really lovely icon. The colors are beautiful on it. It's a glossy cardstock. So like I said, I'm not a huge presentation page person, but as far as they go, I do think that the Ignatius Bible does them well. And you can see here, I did have an incident with my coffee and with my toddler. And this is the first revised standard version, Catholic edition, which means it retains the archaic use of these and thous when talking to God. Let me go ahead and bring this up a bit for you so you can see the information here. The ISBN. There's the imprimatur. All right. Let's start flipping through here, the foreword. And here is the introduction. This is kind of an interesting introduction because it does walk you through some of the changes that they made for the Catholic edition. It does say that there were no changes made to the Old Testament. Obviously, they do have the deuterocanonical books included in that. Sorry, I just realized I did not have my headset plugged in. So the audio on that first half is going to be a little different from what you're used to, but hopefully it's still intelligible. So let's get back to what I was talking about in the introduction here. It does say that there were no changes made to the Old Testament text. It does include the deuterocanonical books, and they are put in the Vulgate order. But it does have the deuterocanonical portions of Esther and Daniel in their narrative place, but they are italicized. So let me see if I can go ahead and find that for you guys. Let's see. Oops. There it is. So look at this. You can see 11, 12 here. You can see the additions here added. You can see the italics, and it really does just kind of make it sort of a mishmash to look at on the page because it has the different chapter numbers. So it looks a little confusing. So instead of being tacked on the end, they're put in to the middle of the narrative where they go in the sense of story. I have to say, for me, I prefer the way the RSV-CE does that, which is to just have it in the text without the italics. So, but that's just my personal preference. So moving on, we have our table of contents here. Old Testament, New Testament, pretty standard. Our list of abbreviations. Here it contains the dogmatic constitution on divine revelation, Dei Verbum, which, by the way, if you're non-Catholic and you want to learn a little bit about how Catholics approach Scripture, that would be a great place to start. Let's flip through here. You have your weights and measures page here, which I noticed this earlier. I had never noticed it before, but you can see here it says NRSV, and I don't know if that's a typo or what. but it still gives you an idea of what the equivalents are going to be in US measurements. There you go. And then we're on into the Old Testament, into the first book, Genesis. You can see here how the footnotes look. And this is, this is a tiny text here. You can see this is 6-point font, and the footnote is even smaller. And that's one of the primary reasons why I switched to have this only as my on-the-go Bible and not my daily reader. It was just too exhausting on my eyes to look at that tiny font all day. And I do want to show you what I'm looking up now are the footnotes. So you have two types of footnotes. You have the translation type footnotes, which are just there in the text at the bottom, as I just showed you. But you also have explanatory notes, and those are relegated to the back of the Old Testament. So you can see here, I'm in Maccabees, and over here is at the end of the OT is the appendix with the explanatory notes. Okay, so with that look at the appendix and the end notes here, which I did take a small break, but just to review, this is the more explanatory notes, the more just translation related footnotes are just here at the bottom in the book. So let's look at the New Testament. You can see one thing I really appreciate about this translation is that about this edition, not this translation, but this edition of it, is that there are there's no headings. It's just broken up with these little lines, which even, to be honest, even these little lines kind of bothered me because they come so frequently, breaking up the text. And to me, I don't like that. To me, that disrupts my flow when I'm reading. But I prefer this to having some kind of translation or some kind of like heading summary there. So to me, that was a positive. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and flip through here to the back because here after the New Testament is where some of the really cool things about this Bible are shown. First, once again, the explanatory notes from the New Testament are here in the back in the appendix. And I do kind of like that because sometimes having the explanatory notes right there in the text makes it hard for me to focus on just the text. My brain just kind of jumps back and forth between the notes and the text. So having it back here is kind of a nice compromise between having notes but not having them kind of right in your face all the time. So let me flip through here. I also want to show you this really neat appendix. This shows the list of, it's a list of the changes in the Revised Standard Version New Testament that occurred for the Catholic translation. So you can see, for example, they changed brothers into brethren. You can see that instead of focusing on the RSV focused on kind of Americanizing the money worth or sometimes like weights, things like that. Instead, this takes a more universal approach to it. So you see the talent is equated to the amount of work you would do to earn that amount of money rather than the dollar amount, which I think is a really great decision. Let's see. It also tells you the differences here. Some of the things that the original RSV relegated to footnotes were actually placed in the text. So that's an interesting decision on the part of the Catholic edition. But this is a really interesting table to flip through if you're kind of interested in the nitty-gritty of what makes the RSV-CE different from the original RSV. I was really glad they had that in there because that kind of makes it, to me, it makes it more transparent. This is one of the attributes of this Bible that I used most heavily, which is the prayers and devotions of the Catholic faith section. Every time before I read my Bible, I flipped right to this page and I opened up with prayers that were from this section. And I think that's just awesome. And honestly, if I could pick one feature for every Catholic Bible to have, this would be it, hands down. I loved it. I loved having it there. That also makes this Bible a good option for if you're looking for a Bible to take to Adoration. This would be a great option. It has lots of prayers for you here, and it also has some blank space here in back for some note taking. And you can see, yeah, I can't blame that on my kids. I did have an incident with coffee. It took a big hit there, but it didn't stop me from using it. I still loved it so much I continued to use it, and it took me quite a while to replace it, even after that big coffee spill. So overall, I find this to be a great little personal addition for on-the-go use, or like I said, if you want one to slip in your purse for adoration or to keep in your car. I mean, it's very compact, it's not too heavy, and it's very durable. The zipper actually works. My kids gave it quite the workout. They love playing with this thing. And like I said, my policy for my kids is if they want to see my Bible, I let them see my Bible. I never want them to be scared to get the Bible off the shelf and take a look at it. Of course, at the same time, it's not a toy, it's a Bible. But yeah, I let them handle it, and they love that zipper. And it's held up perfectly. I was really worried that maybe this part here would come loose, the binding here, or maybe that the metal would fall off. But I've had no issues. So this I can highly recommend. I think, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the price was near like $28 when I bought it. I got it like 2 years of use out of it, a little bit more, and I continue to use it for my go-to compact Bible today. So I would still continue to recommend this for that price. I think I was a little nervous about that price for such a small Bible, but the quality put that to rest. So I hope you enjoyed this little overview of this Bible. I had a hard time getting this video filmed. I was kind of bouncing back and forth a lot with the kids during this one. But if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Do you have this Bible? Do you like it? What do you think about it? Or do you have another compact Bible that you prefer to use on the go? Let me know in the comments below. I do have a couple other Bibles ready to go for review. One of those is actually not a Catholic Bible. It is the CSB Ancient Faith Study Bible. So if you have any questions about that, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. I'd love to hear any particular questions you have on that before I go ahead and film the video. Let me think if there's anything else I need to cover. I think that's it. I also do have, as far as compact editions go, I do have a pocket version of the New Jerusalem Bible. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. I have a confraternity version Catholic Bible that I am looking at reviewing, and I have a Knox Bible on the way. So I'm really excited about that one. That's kind of a very unique translation, and I'm really excited to dig into that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me, and, subscribe, turn on the notifications, leave a comment, and share if you like what I'm doing here. My goal is really just to help Catholics find the right Bible for them. The best Bible is the one that you read. So, my goal here is never to criticize or lambaste any publisher or translation, but it's to take an honest look at the perks and the drawbacks so that you can make a good decision about what works for you. So with that in mind, I look forward to hearing from you guys, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time for another Catholic Bible review.